Let's talk about all of tonight's legal issues. Jonathan Turley is a professor at George Washington University Law School. Jonathan, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Let's start with the Supreme Court. There were a lot of reading through the tea leaves in the arguments, by the way the questions were coming out, that this might be a split decision. How did you see it, and the fact that the White House Chief of Staff plays heavily into the OSHA ruling part of this?
All right. Well, this is how I did see it after the argument. I thought that it would be a split decision, that the administration would lose the really major case, which is the OSHA mandate, but they would eke out a victory on the smaller case, which is dealing with healthcare workers. The reason that second victory happened is because a couple of the justices said, look, we don't even have the regulated parties complaining about this. This is a closer nexus to the healthcare of these workers and their patients. So it's pretty clear from oral argument that they weren't as moved. But you'll note they came within one vote of losing even that one. But the real haymaker was on OSHA. And there the justices said that this really is about democracy, you know, one of the recurring themes of the Democratic Party. But the justices were taking a different view. They said this should be handled in the democratic process. This should be handled by Congress. This is what is called a major question. And three of the justices wrote a separate decision saying we're not supposed to be ruled by a fourth branch of government, essentially, that the agencies aren't given this level of discretion and authority. So the court came down with a very strong opinion that this authority never did exist. And in ruling that way, they took out one of the key components of President Biden's pandemic policies.
Jonathan, just by these rulings, does it tell you anything about how this court is structured for other rulings, potentially?
Well, this really was revealing of what we already know, which is that Roberts remains that moderating force, and he's become sort of the swing vote on this court. But also that Kavanaugh does follow his lead. You know, when Kavanaugh was nominated, I wrote a column saying for President Trump looking for someone not like Roberts, he couldn't have picked someone that looked more like Roberts. They have the same temperament, the same view. And so we really saw that play out here. But there is still a strong conservative majority, particularly on issues like deference to agencies.
Quickly, the unsealed indictments of the Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes with seditious conspiracy. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Brad, we've talked about the Oath Keepers in the past. It was clear from all of us who watched that unfold that there was a hardcore group that came prepared, that they had dangerous items and dangerous intentions. And this is that indictment that has finally come down. But out of over 700 people indicted, thousands investigated, there really is only 11 thus far that have been tagged with this sort of seditious charge. And, you know, the indictment is quite strong. What's interesting is whether the Republicans are going to make a big deal out of the fact that the indictment seems to sort of clear Trump in one respect. And that is, you have the head of the Proud Boys, at least in this group, expressing frustration that President Trump is not willing to do more than talk. That may be played back by the other side to combat a broader conspiracy of sedition.
Jonathan, as always, thank you.